Although it may not be the tallest peak, Mount Sinai certainly ranks among the most renowned mountains worldwide. And why wouldn't it? This legendary mountain holds a special place in the foundation of three major religions: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But brace yourself, because Saudi Arabia has recently made an earth-shattering revelation about this mountain that will undoubtedly challenge everything you thought you knew about it. However, before we begin our video, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. Now let's get started. The significance of the Mountain of God, also known as Mount Sinai, cannot be overstated. It is believed that Moses received the divine tablets containing the Ten Commandments from God at this very spot, according to the Quran, Bible, and Torah. What's fascinating is that this revered mountain has been associated with a towering peak standing at 7,497 feet, close to St. Catherine, a city in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, for centuries. The mountain's base is home to the famous St. Catherine Monastery, an Eastern Orthodox Christian monastery that dates back to 548 to 565 AD, making it the world's oldest continuously inhabited Christian monastery. The monastery of St. Catherine was built at the spot where it is believed that Moses saw the burning bush. Today, it is home to the world's oldest library that has been continuously in operation, containing an impressive collection of rare and unique works. You'll find a mosque at the top of Mount Sinai just west of the Catholicon. Interestingly, this mosque was once a chapel but was transformed into an Islamic structure during the 11th century. Today, it boasts a one-of-a-kind Islamic-style pulpit. However, it seems that the accepted location of Mount Sinai may have been a case of mistaken identity. The Saudi Arabian government may have uncovered the true spot referred to in the Bible as engulfed in fire, smoke, and thunder, and it's miles away from the supposed location. In reality, the actual location of Mount Sinai has long been shrouded in mystery, and this has sparked numerous debates and controversies over the years. Many believe that the cause of this controversy about the exact location of Mount Sinai may not have been a mere lapse of memory, but the actions of Queen Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. Being influenced by paganism and idol worship, she constructed monuments around biblical sites, including Jabal Musa, a mountain on Egypt's Sinai Peninsula that we know today as Mount Sinai. Despite never visiting Egypt, Queen Helena insisted that Mount Sinai was located on the Egyptian peninsula, and her claim remained undisputed for hundreds of years. Surprisingly, a recent discovery by Saudi Arabia has thrown Queen Helena's claims into question. Even before this new discovery, many had already challenged the conventional location of Mount Sinai, arguing that it did not match the description of the Exodus. Historian Ryan Morrow believes that the lack of evidence found at the traditional Mount Sinai in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula is one of the main reasons why some scholars consider the Exodus a myth. But what if these scholars were searching in the wrong place all along? Evidence that matches the biblical account of Mount Sinai's location can be found in the Arabian Peninsula, specifically in the Jabal al-Lawz mountain range in northwest Saudi Arabia. Von Haven, a member of the Danish expedition that visited the site in the 18th century, had expressed doubts that they were actually at Mount Sinai due to inconsistencies with the location's size. Many researchers believe that human errors and traditions may have led to incorrect assumptions about the exact location of Mount Sinai. However, Saudi Arabia has since put forth Jabal Makla as the true Mount Sinai, which fits the description of a mountain surrounded by smoke, fire, and thunder. Roy Wyatt also believed that Mount Sinai was located in northwestern Saudi Arabia after discovering ancient Egyptian chariot remnants in the Gulf of Aqaba, a branch of the Red Sea. According to the biblical account, the people arrived at Mount Sinai after crossing the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba, which Ron believed to be the crossing point dividing the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt from Saudi Arabia. Ron decided to conduct further research on the biblical account and the area. He discovered on the flight maps of the region that there was a mountain range in the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia that he thought could potentially be Mount Sinai. A desert separated this area from the hilly terrain that ran parallel to the Red Sea. Ron's map showed that Jebel el-Lewis was the highest peak in all of northwest Saudi Arabia. It was part of a mountain range with several canyons, which would have provided a secure base for many people to camp and benefit from the mountain's protection. Unfortunately, at the time, few archaeological findings supported Ron's claims. He applied for a visa to visit the region at the Saudi embassy but never received a response. However, after 4.5 years, he attempted to enter Saudi Arabia once again with his 2 sons, but this time without a visa. Ron and his sons arrived in Jordan, parked a rental car near the border, and crossed the border clandestinely. They took several taxis and hitchhiked before finally arriving at Jebel el-Lawz, where Ron noticed white pillars lying on the ground, with the sun reflecting off the white stone. Ron believed that the white stones were proof that Moses built the pillars to represent the 12 tribes of Israel, as described in Exodus 24:4. At the site of the discovery, they also found at least 10 shattered round columns with a diameter of 23 inches, with heights ranging from 8 to 226 inches. To further bolster his belief that Jebel el-Lewis was the original location of Mount Sinai, Ron Wyatt decided to survey the mountain and noticed that it was blackened as if it had been charred. He then surveyed the surrounding area and found that it perfectly matched the biblical description of Mount Sinai. Upon returning to the Jordanian border, Ron and his sons were detained and mistaken for Israeli spies, but he shared his claims during interrogation, which prompted the Saudis to investigate. They discovered a granite column with inscriptions and archaic Hebrew, providing conclusive evidence that ancient Israelites once inhabited the region. After his claims were verified, Ron and his sons were released and he returned legally to Saudi Arabia to document the evidence. He and his entourage discovered an altar with cow and bull petroglyphs in the style of Egyptian art at the foot of the mountain. This discovery is compelling because it has the biblical backing of an altar Moses constructed at the foot of Mount Sinai out of uncut stones. Moreover, this particular form of petroglyph was not discovered anywhere else in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabian government has recently opened the area to the public for tourism, and researchers are investigating Mount Sinai's potential location. At least 7 pieces of archaeological or geographical evidence support the claim that Jebel el-Lewis is the original Mount Sinai. One piece of evidence is the split rock of Horeb, which matches the biblical account of Moses striking a rock at the last place the Israelites camped before reaching Mount Sinai and water flowing out of it. Scientists searching for evidence that Jebel Makla is northwest of Mount Sinai discovered a sizable split rock large enough for a person to stand inside it. The discovery of Mount Sinai's original location in Saudi Arabia has opened up new possibilities in searching for the mountain's truth. Roy Wyatt was the first person to propose that the traditional location of Mount Sinai in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula did not meet the description of the Exodus account. After discovering numerous ancient Egyptian chariot remnants in the Gulf of Aqaba, Wyatt believed that Mount Sinai had to be in northwestern Saudi Arabia on the opposite shore. His conviction was further strengthened by the region's terrain, which perfectly matched the description of the biblical Mount Sinai. Wyatt and his sons were later detained upon returning to the Jordanian border, but during interrogation he made his claims and the Saudis decided to verify them. In an unexpected turn of events, they discovered a granite column with inscriptions and archaic Hebrew across from Nueva, Egypt, providing conclusive proof that ancient Israelites inhabited the region. Since then, more evidence has been uncovered, including the split rock of Horeb, a large split rock standing at the height of 50 feet on top of a hill that is 100 feet high. Locals in the area refer to it as Moses' water. The surrounding area has a vast plain on either side, making it a potential campsite for the Israelites and a battleground for the Amalekites. Scientists also discovered the bitter spring of Mara, which fits the Exodus account of the Israelites' first destination after crossing the Red Sea. These pieces of evidence support the idea that the original location of Mount Sinai is in Saudi Arabia. However, there have been controversial rebuttals, and the improper documentation of those who claim that the actual location of Mount Sinai lies in Egypt has fueled the debate. Nevertheless, the Saudi Arabian government's decision to open up this area to tourism and exploration indicates the potential for the discovery of additional evidence to pinpoint the exact location of Mount Sinai. So that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to get all the latest updates.